Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. You're at the spot, the place, where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Did you bring your thinking caps? It's time to put them on, because the conversation starts now. Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. How are you today? Are you reaching for your highest and greatest good? If not, we're going to talk to a wealth therapist and mentor, Sevi Stam, coming to us from the UK. I'm so excited to have her because it seems like I'm running into a pattern, a sequence of highly vibrant individuals that are in that quantum space that are looking for their highest and greatest good to help us regulate or ascend. Too many people are playing small, too many people are stuck, and we don't want to be stuck. So we're going to bring in a subject matter expert. How are you, Sevi?
Thank you so much for having me, April, and such a warm welcome. Thank you, and hello to all your listeners.
Yes,
I
right.
truly believe, April, that whoever's tuning in today, there's a meaning to that,
Mm,
don't you? As I always say, we all follow our own breadcrumbs, and this could be a breadcrumb for many people.
mm.
So to all your listeners, welcome from London as well. And you touched upon something really, really interesting here. In my field of experience, I have noticed so many people, as you mentioned, playing small, wishing for a reality that is out there somewhere. But somehow it doesn't matter what they do. They always end up living in their current reality that doesn't please them. That is not something that they prefer. And I spent very long years studying, being interested into why that is. Why are we always running against our desires? What makes it so difficult? So a little bit about myself and how I ended up today here at this spot, being the expert on how can we go over there. Or it's not really over there, it's maybe in here, but we haven't realized it yet. So I've always been exceptionally interested in human behavior and exactly that. Why are we doing what are we doing? And mainly, why are we doing the things that we know we shouldn't be doing and end up where we don't want to be? In other words, people say that this is self-sabotage. I don't like to use labels as such, but just to tell you a little bit more about myself, I've been a restaurateur for nearly 20 years. And I often like to say that what being a restaurateur told me about human behavior, no book can ever teach me. So I've been observing people and I've learned that there is something very common amongst all us humans. And this is that no matter what we do, no matter what steps we follow, how big our to-do lists are, how many books we read and courses we attend, there are some other factors that run our behavior, that run our vehicle, our body forward. And those things are our identity. So I became exceptionally fascinated about that. In my own journey, April, I had that incredible desire to succeed in my business, as many of us do. So I threw everything at it. I threw all the money that I had. I threw there my time, my passion. I sacrificed my relationships, my time, my health, everything, my own space. And you know what happened? That idea, that goal that I had for my business to be successful, I've ruined it because I've ruined everything else that mattered for me.
The
So,
important things.
yeah, absolutely. My health, my relationships, my peace of mind, my passions, my inspirations. So, to answer your question, what is quantum wealth and why quantum wealth? I'll define it like that. Quantum wealth is well-being, absolute well-being in every area of life that's important to you. A lot of women, especially in the business field, are having that monodirectional goal to make the most money they can, or to find love, a partner, to have a child, or whatever it is they need in order for them to feel joyful, peaceful, free, happy, complete. So, see, it's not always the thing that's going to make us feel this way, but we chase it because we believe that this is the journey.
Well,
This
this
is
is what
the thing.
society has poured into us. They see this cookie cutter image of a successful woman or man living a certain lifestyle, driving a certain car, having a certain body shape, wearing a certain designer. And what they fail to realize is the struggle that that individual and the journey that they had to go through and still going through to achieve this. Um, I would call it an imposter syndrome because they're really not sending their true representative. They're not sending their authentic selves. And I'm running into so many people that are really into the quantum. And the quantum is, brains, a frequency. It is a level of energy that you are tapping into, delving from the subconscious mind, not necessarily dealing with the frontal lobe. And I tell so many people that this is where we are ascending to as a civilization. This is not just hoo hoo. It's not just a trend, something hippy dippy. This is some serious shit. And you better get your toilet paper and wipe your rump because it is going down. And we are in this vortex. I just had another great mastermind guest on yesterday talking about the same thing. There are so many people trying to get to that point. And I understand what you said, Sevi, is that you sacrifice everything, everything that you thought or society deemed important, but you didn't know your true self. What happened when you had your aha moment and your true awakening?
My aha moment, April, was really funny. Now it's funny. It wasn't then. But it happened on the ski slopes of the Austrian Alps.
Mm,
I was skiing on a literally 3 days little break with my family when I was so burnt out. We just went there to try to recharge our batteries and to, find the meaning of it all. Well, in short, I came back in a wheelchair.
what?
It was, yes, it was one of those freak accidents I had on the slopes, where when I was thrown in the air and twisted in all positions that the human body is not meant to twist, all I could hear is that one voice that I need to change. Something needed to change. I didn't feel the pain. I didn't feel anything. It was a really severe injury. But I knew there and then that that voice saved my life, truly. I needed to follow it. That was 9 years ago, April. And the minute I came back home in that wheelchair and ended up having surgeries, you name it, full year of recovery, I immediately signed up to study and follow that whisper in my heart that I knew what I needed to do.
Mm,
And while I was still running my restaurant, I started studying very heavily. So I've studied with the best masters in energy healing, quantum physics, neuroplasticity, epigenetics, metaphysics, you name it. I was so hungry. I was like a woman possessed.
mm,
And a few years on, I am defending now my doctorate and PhD in integrative quantum holistic medicine,
wow.
which combines everything we are talking about. And as you said, this is some serious shit because we are talking about science
Right.
and science in terms that now we are able to prove what ancient philosophies knew thousands and thousands of years but was silenced or suppressed. Now we at least have the scientific language to know why is it happening, to actually quantify it somehow. The
Right.
true heart doesn't need that, but the human mind does because we're still very logical. We need somebody to tell us this is why it works and it's not a woo-woo.
Right. Absolutely.
But the
But
heart
you know what?
mind.
But this ancient wisdom has been around for centuries. I mean, brains, the pyramids, the uh, electricity. You don't see it.
Yeah,
The air. You don't see it. You use it all the time.
yeah.
You know, you don't hear, you hear, but you don't see the words floating in front of you. So why is it so difficult for you to believe in energy, life force energy? It is a frequency. And I call it Gus, God, universe, and spirit. And they walk side by side.
Mm.
People that are into the religious doctrine, I love you more than words can say. But I ask you to expand that into something else because God or your religious deity or your guru did not come out of a book. It came out of the universe. And when you look up in the stars at the sky at night, what do you think is out there? Where do you think that that's coming from? When you look at these, what are those meters that check your brain waves, that check your heart rate? That is an energy force. It is a pulsating energy that is regulating. So I'm so glad that you have done the deep dive and you are getting your PhD. Well, I'm impressed because that's a lot of work. That's a
It
lot
is.
of work. And again, you're cooking, you're still in the restaurant business because now you're cooking up something else. But
Absolutely.
it's fact based. What do your friends and family think of this astronomical change in you?
It's very interesting and funny you ask me that because no one is shocked or surprised. And I will tell you that for 20 years in the restaurant, I have been doing so much therapy. I just wasn't paid to be a therapist. But
Mm.
people were just coming to me with their stories, with their problems, and they always left my presence feeling better. That's how I knew, and I felt energy. I always knew that when the door opens, the layout of the restaurant was such that I couldn't see who comes in. I could feel. I always know how they felt. That's why my first study went into energy healing. And I started exploring then how it is, what is it I'm feeling, where is it coming from? So you also said something very interesting there, April, that there is something. You call it subconscious mind. I work, the subconscious mind is my friend. This is where I find all the buried stories that run people forward. And I want to touch upon here about something that I use in my work and I'm so passionate about. And I call that identity scripts. What are those? Your identity, our identity, is not our name, our titles, even our roles, who we play to be, like mothers, partners, businesswomen. It is not our achievements. Our identity is the stories and the unknown written in our subconscious mind programs that are deciding every single move we make.
Mm.
Because when you want something, that's a conscious decision, but that's not who runs the show. Who actually makes you go there or not go there is what programs you're carrying through. This is your identity script. So I've created that powerful tool, is analysis tool where somebody can sit down and answer several questions and actually understand what is the script that has been running their life so far. And that gives them that incredible power and understanding that they're not flawed, they're not broken. It's not that you haven't done enough. It's not that you haven't invested more time, more money, or sacrificed more into your goal, into your aspiration to achieve more. The problem is that there was a power behind all that, in the background, very silently, running the show, creating every move that you make. And you're not even aware of that. And that is the key. And I see so many women at the moment, the space, the internet space, it's literally littered by gurus that tell you how to manifest. And this is a true term, but I don't like using it because it became pointless or it means nothing anymore
Very
because
cliche.
everybody's manifesting. Yeah,
Very, very well, and I was talking to my guest yesterday about manifestation. Brains, you can manifest a mess. Believe me, the drama, the endless reverberation of that deafening echo chamber of negativity. I'm not good enough. Who will want me? I'm too fat. I don't have enough money. I don't. You have to change that conversation to I am, I will, I do, I have, I see, I want. I talk to myself every day, all day long. And I always ask for the highest and greatest good. What else is possible? And how can it get any better than this? I'm questioning and challenging myself at every point. Because if you don't, you're stuck. You're playing small. And
that's
that's
called, yeah.
dangerous. And
That's
it's
called self-regulation, April. Very, very good. Because when you are aware and you self-regulate, you can always come into state. You
dangerous.
can only manifest. I call that materializing your desired state. It's not manifestation because people take it wrongly. And let me very quickly tell you listeners why the popular tools of manifestation can actually work against you, because this is a very, very important moment. What people do is, in the main space, they're being taught to create, for example, an affirmation list. They're told to create a vision board with all that they desire, the pictures of the places they want to live, the partner, the whatever it is they want to have. They're being told to envision that with the emotion and feeling that they already have it. Well, guess what? That's all beautiful. But if you haven't realized what subconscious beliefs and programs you have in your system as a background, it doesn't matter how much you recite that you are wealthy, skinny, beautiful, in love, etc. Your subconscious mind says that's a lie. So instead of giving you that what you're affirming, it will show you in your life prove why that's not true.
Mm, mm, mm.
Every time you look at that board, you don't say, I live that life. Your subconscious mind says, this is not in our reality. It's not true. I'll show you why it's not true. Tomorrow will give you more awareness that you're not in your ideal body. It will give you an awareness that you're lonely and you're not in love. It will give you an awareness that your bank account is short and you cannot pay that bill that is waiting to be paid. And people, instead of growing, feeling better, freer, or near their desired reality, they feel resentful, depleted, and they stop believing that it actually can work.
Wow.
First thing that people need to do is become aware as to what is it, the program into the subconscious mind, what I call the identity script, which is not even theirs, April. This is something that our parents, our society, you mentioned, our culture, the media have created. That's not even ours. I was chasing success that I've learned from others that is success what it is. Why do I have to chase it? What's going to bring me? That didn't come from me. Somebody else's belief that was. Until I really was so burnt out, had adrenal fatigue, had the accident, and couldn't even face going to the restaurant anymore. I've learned that what I was chasing was not what I was called in to do. It wasn't the thing that was going to bring me that sense of joy, peace, happiness, wholeness, connection. See, I needed to go really down. I really needed to go when there was no other option in order to understand that those aspirations, those desires were not mine. My mom was repeating all my life that I have to be a business owner, to have my own business, to be successful. And I bought into that. That was the program. Then I saw it everywhere on the news, on the um, social media, whatever, that if you have the business, if you have the money, if you're successful, you have a good life. I didn't decide that. That was programmed into me.
Right.
So you will be shocked that 90, that's a big number, 90% of women, when I work with them, the first step that we do is we actually reverse engineer their desire, and they end up shockingly discovering that what they always wanted and they strive to achieve wasn't theirs at all.
Wow. Wow.
And that is, if you don't know where you're going, how are you ever going to get there?
Right.
Especially when your heart is saying that's not what you are here to do.
Mhm. Right.
And
But
majority of us do that.
but there's so many people that, well, I'm not going to say so many. I don't want to lump people into a category because I'm living my dream. I'm living my best life. I really am. And it is because of the curiosity. And I'm curious about different people, places, things, situations. Even if I run into adversity, what is that here to teach me? This is a life lesson. It's something that is going to make me bigger, stronger, wiser. I praise and glorify through my circumstance. Again, you were in a wheelchair and look at you now. If you did not have faith, if you did not have hope, and that's what it is. This is a crapshoot, brains. You are at the crap table in Las Vegas and you are rolling the dice.
Yeah.
And, if you come up a winner, you're lucky. If you're a loser, that's because the odds were set against you. So, what you have to do is you have to study it and not be afraid of who you are. A lot of people, now, this I will say, are afraid to find out who they really are and what their life purpose is. When we came to this planet, we signed a soul contract. I don't care if you believe it or not. Some people signed up for a short journey. Some people signed up for a long journey. Some people signed up for adversity. Some people signed up for riches. But the riches doesn't make you wealthy. Wealth is something, I tell people all the time, I don't have to be rich because rich is going to give me things. I can't take those things with me. Now, the way it is set up, you're not even probably able to will them to people without the government taking part of it. But what is it that I carry inside of me that is going to build a bridge for someone else to walk safely across? And that's what Sevi is doing. She's a bridge builder. She is there to put it in plank by plank and to hold your hand, not redesign you, not re engineer you, but help you discover and uncover who you are meant to be. And that is a challenge and it is scary. Okay. It's scary because we're so used to the quote unquote norm, or we look in the mirror, we see the same thing. That's like me. I'll change my hair, I'll change my eyewear, I'll change my clothes, my fashion, because I'm curious. I want to see what I'm going to look like, what I'm going to feel like in an alternate reality. Okay. So when you woke up and you saw who you were meant to be and you greeted that person, um, that was an aha moment. And that was scary too. How did you settle into that? And how do you help others settle into that? Because now it's their new normal.
It's very interesting you're talking about soul contracts here, April. This is something that we're not aware of and we come up with. But in our first years of life, we also sign our survival contracts.
Mm-hmm.
So those contracts we are also not aware of in our, let's say, later years, but they absolutely run against us. What are those looking like? Let's say, as in every contract, for example, you want electricity. You sign a contract and you know that you have to pay your monthly bill in order to receive the service, electricity. You know, this for 2 years or 3 years or whatever. And a lot of companies are very cheeky and they actually renew your contract without you knowing. So you suddenly look and it's another 4 years in the contract. Well, guess what? The survival contracts we sign not knowingly. For example, in order for me to receive love, I need to pay with constant achievement, with being perfect, with constantly showing that I'm worthy because I'm not worthy just by being. That's a survival contract. I learned that when I was little. Others learn that to have a healthy, beautiful body, you need to pay. What is it that you have to pay? What is the survival contract? Well, early on, a lot of my clients have learned that, for example, being beautiful, slim and trim was not safe. So in order to buy safety, they piled up the kilos. They piled up a padding, physical padding, that will keep them safe.
Right. Makes
So it's all about those unconscious survival contracts that we have signed, but they run against the soul contract that you spoke about, the one that we come up with. What are we coming here for? We are coming to expand the universal consciousness by experiencing life through the human body. And we do that in order to be joyful, to be free and happy. Our inherent power is love. And majority of people believe that we are here to learn, to struggle, to pay bills, and to just die one day and that's it. It's not. We got it so backward. And of course, for that, we have to blame, as you mentioned, organized religion, the media, etc., our parents even, because they only passed on what they've learned from their parents, from their society, their culture.
epigenetics.
Yeah, epigenetics. But each and every one of us is responsible for our own health, wealth, and well-being. We cannot blame genetics. Genetics don't count.
Right.
What counts is the choices that we make, the decision that we make. As you said very correctly, I can hold your hand and I can show you the way. I cannot walk the way for you.
That's right.
And a lot of people spend money and they try to achieve something, but they want you to do it for them. And I'm saying here, no one can do it for you. Absolutely no one. And I always ask people and I say, why wait until the hardest option is the only option? Like in my case, I heard I needed to change. You know what? I had so many breadcrumbs before that, notices and messages that I had to change. I didn't feel well. I wasn't happy doing what I did. Why didn't I change? Because I was comfortable in the uncomfortable, because it was what I knew. So, yes, you're very right. We cannot hold hands and do the walking for people, but we can show them the way. We can awaken. We can sparkle a little bit of curiosity. What if?
And we can regain joy. I was talking to my mentor. I always send him a quick little message. Good morning. How are you doing? And I said, I'm looking to scale and change, the direction. I've done this podcast for 25 years. It's extremely successful, but I know that there is ascension. There is somewhere else that I need to go. There's something else I need to do. And I said, what are you hearing? What's the buzz out there in the world? And you know what he said? Love. Love is a hot ticket item, brains. Okay? And it costs you nothing. It costs you nothing. And I said, love. He goes, my sponsors, my guests, everyone is reaching for love. And I looked at that and it was so simplistic. It was right in my face because the world has changed. It's getting so evil. And this is by design. Okay. This is not something that's just happenstance. This is a course that we have to navigate because if we don't clear it up now, the universe doesn't want this mess up there. It's a totally different set of circumstances. Who knows what we're about to face? But they don't want what we're dealing with here, the ugliness, the racism, the poverty, the disrespect, the disrespect for women, the the foul language, the mistreating of our children. Universe says, And going back to COVID, COVID was the perfect pause. Oh, everybody was so up in arms about taking the jab and all that. But you failed to get what it was all about. The entire world, planet Earth, was put on pause. We were put in timeout, some longer than others. 2 years for us to realize who we are, to reconnect with our families, to be concerned about our health, to come up with new options, to have good conversations, to unite. But what do we do? After they, let you go back to doing what you're doing, became more divisive, more ugly, ruder, mean. But again, it's changing the rubber from the road because now we have to decide. And it's moving at warp speed. Artificial intelligence, quantum physics, religious doctrines, relationships, conversations, social media. It's going faster than we can keep up with. People are afraid of AI, Sevi. And I say that you better get on board or you're going to get left behind because that's where we are. It is artificial intelligence. That is what we have been receiving for years, and people didn't realize it. And now it's right in your face, and we're shocked. What do you
Mm.
feel about the AI?
I personally use AI a lot. And I've been to many, many, many events where this subject has been discussed at length. But how I feel about it is just a tool. Let's say I'm afraid of a knife that can cause a lot of damage. But when I have a beautiful loaf of sourdough bread, unless I have a knife, I cannot properly eat it. What I mean is that everything out there that scares people, there was point in our past when things that we now take for granted were very, very scary.
Right?
It's like AIs now. Um, of course, if used with bad intentions, that could cause a lot of harm, as many other things in our society today. But if we're conscious about it and we know how to use it, we can have massive advances in so many fields in our life that it would have taken generations to achieve. Now things happen so much faster. So I say, let's be vigilant and conscious and do things. So you mentioned quite on a few times is to do things for the highest good of all. If you enter AI with that intention, I don't see any harm in that.
I don't either. I'm curious about it. I know my mother, when we came online, she used to say, "Oh, that Facebook is the devil."
Of course.
And I said, "It is." But could you imagine if not dealing and being in bed with the devil during COVID? There would have been no way of people really connecting. And so don't be afraid of what you don't know. You should be more afraid of what you do know.
Yeah,
The
but it's always
options.
the opposite, isn't it? We're always afraid of what we don't understand and what we don't know.
So let me ask you some fun questions because we've done the deep dive, and I
Hmm.
love to ask this, and I love to get to know you a little bit better. What type of restaurant did you have?
Ooh, I have a steakhouse.
Ooh, oh my goodness! And what was one of your signature dishes?
Okay. The T-bone steak has always been a favorite one. But what I did, April, is that I had a very fancy oven, which is like a charcoal oven called Josper. It's a Spanish-made oven. It's considered to be the Rolls Royce of ovens. It's like an indoor barbecue, if you like. So whatever you put in, it goes like 500 degrees very quickly. 4 minutes they get done. That's how quick it is. Beautiful. But the flavor it gives to the meat is just sensational. Literally anything that we put in. So that was what we were famous for.
So,
Yeah,
uh, I just bought some T-bone steaks yesterday, and I
good.
went to a very high-end steakhouse here, Oceans 48 in Newport Beach, and they had one of those ovens. And the flavor, and I'm gonna tell you something, Brains. I was always the one, oh no, I want it well done. My
Oh,
girlfriend, my girlfriend said, why are you killing it twice?
yes.
And I always thought, oh, it's gonna be bloody, it's gonna be gamey, it's gonna be tough. I'm not gonna let me tell you, it is magic.
It's the other way around.
I it's the other way around. I absolutely adore it. You're back in the kitchen. Out of all the appliances, if you were an appliance in that kitchen, what appliance would you be?
Ooh, right now, I will, yeah, I will be pressure cooker.
Oh,
And I can tell you more. Listen, I feel you, we can talk with you for days. And the time that we have with your listeners is not enough for me to touch on everything that I love and like, and that's beneficial.
well, you're gonna
But
come back.
yes, as a quantum doctor,
That's
looking after the body as well as the mind, the emotions, and everything, because we take the body quantumly as not the body, the being quantumly with all the bodies of consciousness. The physical body is the last kind of contracted, dense energy. But that
right.
doesn't start from there. But we have to take care of the physical body because all our bodies, let's say our spirituality, our intuition, our mental body, and our emotions have caused the physical body to suffer.
Mm,
But one of the most important things for the body to be well is our nutrition, which is very, very um, little topic in our conventional medicine material, and people don't talk enough about that. Anyway, I'm a big fan of my pressure cooker because A, you consume all your vitamins and minerals in whatever you're cooking. Meat gets not browned. That's the oxidation, what we don't want in our bodies. We can cook without any oils. And I know in America you like your vegetable oils. And I'm telling all your listeners, the quantum doctor said, chuck them out.
I
Burn
know. That's what they told
no
me.
oils. Tallow, coconut oil if you have to, ghee. Ghee
Okay.
is the clarified butter. But tallow and ghee are your best bets, but no oils, no vegetable oils, seed oils, no. They're very, very, very oxidative and they create a lot of damage in our bodies,
And in
causes.
your brain, and in your brain. I have been studying some nutrition, and I said, well, should I chuck them or should I use it? So of course I'm going to use what I have in there, but get rid of them. But I am very. A friend of mine was telling me about how to make tallow. She makes it because she gets very high in meat. And people make an investment in what you put in your body. You are what you eat. You know, you don't have to go to, I'm not knocking fast food restaurants. I'm not even going to get into that because you know better,
Yeah.
you know. But it makes you feel better. Your elimination, when you go to the restroom and it smells like somebody's died, that lets you know that there's something rotting inside of your body.
Mm.
Not good. Um, if you were a flower in the garden, Sevi, what flower would you be?
Rose. You know, roses, that's the perfume I always use, is something that's very close to me. I'm Bulgarian, come from Bulgaria, although live in London for 25 years. And I don't know if you know anything about our country, but we are famous for our rose oil, which is being exported to France, of course, for all their perfume making. But it's one of the rarest oils there that's very potent. And yes, I love a
I
good rose.
would be a tulip. I'm a
Okay.
little straight up, wild, risky. I love it. If you were an animal, what animal would you be and why?
A cat.
Hmm.
There is something so I'm a cat woman. Yeah, let's get that straight. There are dog people and cat people. I love dogs, but they're very love me, love me, love me, love me, very yeah. And cats, Honestly, they're so elegant and they almost like give you permission to pet them. They tell you when they want you to love them. They're so independent and they know, they feel. I'm very attuned to them, to that energy. I just, that elegancy, that in 1 second they can just be all muscle and attack. And the next, they just can get through small spaces and they're so flexible and beautiful. I just love cats. I think I'm very drawn to them and very much in connection with them.
Well, I'm going to get more connected because the cat just had three kittens in my backyard. And I was like, well,
Wow,
yeah, I just looked out there and I saw these cute little kittens and I couldn't believe it. And she's made herself very comfortable in the back. She lays out on the lounge chairs and all that. I said, okay, well, now I'm a cat lady. I've always been a dog lover.
that's fortune. That's good fortune, April. They come to good people. Cats are very good. They know, they can measure your energy and how good of a person you are.
Okay,
They know.
well, I'll take that into advisement.
Uh,
And in closing, what would you tell a person that is struggling right now? I mean, they don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. And they're just try to figure it out. Where do they begin?
okay. First of all, pause. Stop. Pause. You've been given one thing, that is connection to that divine, to source, whatever your belief is, whether it's God, the universe, source, the field, and that's your breath. The essence of life comes into your body through the breath. We've all been taught through the adversity in life to breathe very shallowly. So everything is here in the upper chest. And I say, when the difficulty comes, pause. Take that breath down, a little bit further down, 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 almost to your pubic bone. Feed that body. And I will say connect with that body because we are too much mind. What's going to happen? How can I do it? That loop goes and goes and goes. There's too much noise. I will say quiet down. The problem's not going to go away. So you can take a few minutes off. Breathe.
Hmm.
When you're breathing, ask yourself, how do I really feel about what's happening to me? I feel scared. I feel angry, or I feel frustrated, offended, whatever it is. Now take it into your body with that breath and ask yourself, where in my body do I actually feel that? Scan your body and become aware, because the body is a tool that tells you everything. Before there is a disconnect, the body knows. And when you find it, always my shoulders, that little bit of a spot here that hurts so much, then that's energy stuck in your body. That's an old emotion that you have experienced at some point in your life, but you didn't have the tools to give it a permission to express itself. Because mom said, don't be silly and don't cry. Just smile and get on with it. And you didn't express it, you didn't cry. So that energy got stuck in your shoulder, in your stomach, in your head, wherever it is you're feeling that emotion as a sensation. Breathe into that.
Hmm.
How about for that microsecond, you allow it to be? Don't stop it. Don't alter it. Don't talk yourself better. Don't say, no, 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 no. What do we do when something happens? No, no, all is good. All is good. My tooth was hurting the other day. Normally, what would you say? All is good. It's not hurting. It's going to go away. Da, 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 da. Now I said, okay, what are you trying to tell me? What is it? Oh, teeth are normally in my, that's deeper dive, but they're normally associated with decision making. Oh, I've been struggling to make a decision. My body knows only one way to tell me that I am not doing what I have to do. It will get out. It will show me toothache, constipation, hair graying. This is all symptoms of a root cause. So I would say to people when they're breathing and they pinpoint that sensation that they associate with how they feel about the adversity they're going through, breathe into that. That may be you when you were 3 and you experienced something and you had an emotion and you didn't have an outlet and you bottled it in. Where does it go? It stays in the body.
Absolutely.
It gets locked as energy, as vibration and frequency. And through that breath, breathe into it and allow it to come out.
Mm.
Then you're going to have an inspiration. Only then you're going to know what needs to be done in order for you to move forward with the problem that you're having. And you will notice then that somehow the universe rearranges itself. Somebody comes and gives you a hand and helps you, or the problem disappears, or whatever happens. We are not the story. We are not the problem. We are the creators of our own reality. But we are so not told that.
I know.
But we have gone weaker and weaker, allowing that experience to become what we identify with. And that's not who we are. It's
Well, that's
just
what
a story.
society has etched out for us. And so I want you, brains, to connect with Sevi, to do the deep dive, one-on-one consultation, follow her on social media. She's in the throes of writing her first book, and getting her doctorates. So there is so much there. Please tell my brains how to get in contact with you if they want to explore this a little bit further, because it's fascinating.
Right. I will tell people to first and foremost, I've made it very easy for people to get the first step. And I know this first step is sometimes very scary. But if you feel inspired, if you feel like you want to make that first step, I have just put into the chat box here a link to my analysis tool where they can go. It's free of charge, and they can answer a few questions and understand what is their identity script as a root cause that is running their life, and they don't know about it. That's the first step. They will gain so much awareness of that. And within that tool, they will also have a link if they feel inspired to or wish to get 30 minutes of free session with me where we can discuss what the result of that analysis was. How I can help them is absolutely no obligation and absolutely safe and confidential. I work with women in the public eye, so for me, confidentiality is very important. So you wouldn't see a lot of materials written out there and testimonials just because we're protecting the identity of people that have dared ask for help. And do the tool. I'm just urging you, do the tool because it's the first step of you realizing that you and what you perceive to be suffering is not yours. And you have the absolute power to change your life.
Hmm, that's beautiful. Brains, I need you to go in, love, like, share, and subscribe. Love, like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to put all of Sevi's information at the back of the interview. I'm going to be running this on all the social media platforms. Go in, rewind it, um, just take it all in like a good milkshake with a straw. Just suck it
Love
all
it.
in and enjoy
Yes.
it, you know? We are going to be talking more about the quantum, the energy, our choices, our options, and love here in the coming upcoming shows. I thank you for your continued support. Again, share this interview with other individuals and do the deep dive for yourself. Uncover what it is that you have never discovered about you in your life. Thank you so much, Sevi Stam. You are the best.
Thank you so much, April, for having me and for giving me this opportunity to reach your beautiful listeners. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, brains. We adore you.